What is vermouth and how should you drink it? That is our topic of the day. Stick around and find out. But before we dive in, please take a second to hit the subscribe button and the like button on this video so that more people can find our awesome videos. Hi, I'm Tim from Elma Wine and Liquor. Today we are talking vermouth. This is something that you may have heard of. You may have seen it in a drink. You may even have a bottle and make drinks with it, but not even really understand what it is. A lot of people think it's a type of liquor or a liqueur. Some people understand that it is actually a wine, which that's what it is. Vermouth gets its origins from being a medicinal type of product. So way back in the Middle Ages, they took the wine, they started adding different herbs, spices, roots, infusions. So things like coriander and cinnamon and all these different things into the wine as a way of creating a medicinal product. It helped with gut health. It helped alleviate different ailments. And it also was a method of preserving the wine. So they would add in a little alcohol, a little distilled liquor to it. They would add in some sugar to it so that it helped preserve the wine, helped fight oxidation and make it last a little bit longer. So this is kind of the background of where the concept of vermouth came from. It started as a wine, got infused with different herbs, spices, roots, botanicals, all those different flavors, and then a little splash of liquor, a little splash of sugar, and voila, you have vermouth. Another one of the main ingredients that was very, very common in all vermouths up to a certain point was wormwood. So wormwood, which in German is Vermouth, is where vermouth gets its name from. So German name, although most people now commonly associate it with Italy, the name came from the German word for wormwood, which was one of the key ingredients in vermouth for a very long time. We know that vermouth started as a way of being a medicine and also as a way to preserve wine. So what is its purpose today? Well, for starters, it is a great drink on its own. I know in the US we don't often see it sipped on or drank as a drink itself, but in Europe it is very common aperitif, which means a before dinner drink. It helps settle your stomach, it helps warm up your appetite. It's just something that you would sip on just a little bit with a cube of ice or without ice, just to as a appetizer before the meal. The couple main criteria for being a vermouth is that it is fortified, meaning that liquor is added to it in a small quantity, and aromatized, which means that there are a blend of botanical spices, ingredients infused into it. Every single vermouth will have its own unique blend and recipe. Some of these are closely guarded family secrets. Some of these are printed right on the label of the bottle so that everybody can see what is in it. That's the fun thing about vermouth, is that every single one will taste a little bit different based on the different flavors that are used to aromatize it. Basically, start with a wine, aromatize it, add in a little bit of liquor, and you have your vermouth. There are three main types of vermouth. Our dry vermouth, which is typically in a white format or a clear format. We have our red vermouth, which is a sweet vermouth typically, and then we have a Bianco vermouth, which is a kind of a blend between the two. It's almost like a slightly sweet white vermouth. Dry vermouth is usually a little bit crisper, a little bit more, oftentimes has a little bit of a lemon feel to it, while sweet vermouth, as the name implies, is sweeter, a little bit richer, a little bit more dark red fruit flavors to it. And the Bianco still has a little bit of that citrus, but usually a little bit sweeter than the dry. Vermouth, like I said, can be drank on its own. It can be mixed into cocktails, which is how we often see it in the United States. It can be used for cooking. And one of the things that I often see with vermouth is that people keep it in their liquor cabinet. That's fine until it's opened. Once the bottle of vermouth is open, it will last for a few weeks open, depending on how much you're consuming at any given time. Once it gets down to the lower parts of the bottle, it's going to start expiring faster. And not necessarily expiring in the sense that it's going to kill you, but expiring in the sense of those flavors and aromas are going to fade away. The alcohol is going to evaporate, those flavors are going to blow off. So the best thing to do with vermouth is make sure it's sealed tightly after you've opened it and keep it in the fridge. That'll help extend the life of it a little bit longer so that you can get the most out of a bottle, especially if you're going to spend money on a good, high quality vermouth. As I've said, vermouth in the US is not a big drink on its own, but in a lot of European cultures, it still is considered an important part of the meal and get-together traditions. So I thought it would be fun to take a look country by country at how different cultures are still utilizing vermouth. So starting in Italy, which a lot of people kind of consider the birthplace of modern vermouth, it is still a very common drink, both on its own and for cocktails. It's very typical in the afternoons before dinners to see people be served a little splash, especially of dry vermouth with a little citrus garnish to consume before dinner. So also they love their sweet vermouths in cocktails such as a Negroni, which is equal parts gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari, which is another type of bitter Italian liqueur. So you'll see vermouth used in Italian food culture all across the meal, cocktails, aperitifs. It's just something that is prevalent in everyday society. In France, it's pretty similar to Italy. They love their dry vermouth served with a little bit of citrus garnish. It's a lot of times on the rocks, sometimes neat, and they use their sweet vermouths a lot of times for cocktails of various sorts, Americanos, Negronis, those types of things. It's again, a culture of having a little sip in the afternoon before dinner to kind of get your appetite going and awaken your palate with all those different flavors and aromas that are coming off the vermouth. In Spain, there are actually dedicated bars to vermouth. So very often in Barcelona and Madrid, you'll find these vermuterias, which are little bars, typically serve tapas as well, which is where you get your little glass of vermouth and a little plate of food to put on top of it to keep the flies out while you snack and drink. These are very popular places for in the afternoons. You'll find a variety of vermouths on tap. So just like you would go to a craft brew bar in the United States and have a choice of beers to choose from, that's what you would find at a vermuteria in Spain. So you can sip on a couple different types of vermouth in the afternoon, maybe just pre-siesta or post-siesta before dinner as a way to explore and have a little sip of something fun, different, aromatic, flavorful, that just really, is different, and it's light. So it's typically the way that the Spanish enjoy vermouth, but they also use cocktails and sip on it at other times of the day as well. And then finally, over to the US, I have a couple examples here of vermouths that are made right in New York State. Vermouth culture is gaining steam in the US, mostly driven by the craft cocktail culture that has been growing for the last decade. Bartenders and mixologists are focused on finding different unique vermouths that blend with different types of liquor to make the more unique cocktail they can that stands out, gives them a format to express their creativity so that a Manhattan in one bar will taste a little bit different from a Manhattan in another bar because of the different vermouths they're using, even if they choose to use the same liquor, same rye or same bourbon. And that's what's really fun and unique about the vermouth culture, is that you can have something different in every bottle. And although the base at the core, it's in essence the same thing, the flavors and the aromas that you get off of each different one will change, and it'll change the way it mixes in your cocktail. It'll change the way it hits your palate, and that craft cocktail culture is what is really driving vermouth in the United States. But I would encourage you, even if you just enjoy your cocktails, is when you try a new different bottle of vermouth, take a little splash of it. Or if you're at a craft cocktail bar and you see the bartender mixing with a vermouth that you've never seen before, ask them if you can try a little splash of it. They'll probably be entertained that you're actually interested in one of their tools of the trade, because not many people focus on the vermouth, which is short-sighted of a lot of us, because vermouth is actually kind of what drives a lot of cocktails. The flavors, the aromas are very powerful. A good vermouth can make up for a bad whiskey in a Manhattan, for example. Whereas you can have the best whiskey in the world. If you have a bad vermouth for your Manhattan, it's not going to be the greatest cocktail ever. So that is our little primer on vermouth. I hope you found it interesting. Please ask us more questions in the comments below. Leave your feedback. If you've ever tried a really interesting or unique vermouth, or just your favorite vermouth to use for cocktails, or if you sip on it at home, let us know in the comments below. Look forward to hearing from you, and see you again soon. Cheers.